Graham, you couldn't make this up, could you? I mean, everything that could go wrong for you kind of is going wrong for you. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's really frustrating. It's incredibly challenging. It's a tough moment. I feel for the supporters. We're disappointed to lose tonight. I thought relatively even game in the first half. We had a couple of good chances. I think the basics we can do a little bit better in terms of our defending, in terms of some of our football actions. But at the same time, we get back in the game, and then the red cards, like you say, it's where we're at the moment in terms of things that can happen to us. Obviously, losing Dennis beforehand as well, so we just adjusted with Georgie, and then João, who's obviously having a fantastic impact on the game. You see his quality. To lose him and then to lose him for 3 matches is just it's really disappointing.
Any more?
And what's more frustrating for you as a coach to see? I've read your quotes about the tackle. You said it was forwards tackle, it was rash. Maybe as a guy who's new to the league, does that frustrate you more, or the defensive mistakes that you've pinpointed for the goals? Which is when you weigh it up.
All of them will be learning moments. I mean, like I said, João is a young player. He's a top player. You can see his quality. You can see what he brought to the game. I didn't think there was any malice in the challenge at all. It's a little bit high, of course, and then the referee has got a decision to make. He'll learn from it, and like I said, probably rather than anything fantastic from the opponent, it was more our basic actions that can do better, and that's what we have to improve.
Jacob.
Graham, you were chasing a second equaliser at the end of it. You had strikers on the bench, didn't you? What was the thinking there? Just because with that 10 men, you couldn't move on?
No, we felt that we'd go to 4-4. We was a 5 before. We went to 4-4-1. Keep Kai on. Thought Kai was leading the line and winning challenges and duels, and then using Hakim and Carney to break from there and Connor to break from the central. You probably know you're going to get driven back a bit, so that was the thinking.
Nizam.
How hard is it to break the negative cycle? Because it almost feels like the red card was a sort of case of beating yourself. It's like an emotional act that sort of cost you. Is there like an emotional negativity that's sort of feeding into the team, in these moments?
I don't think it was an emotional one from Jan. It didn't feel that way to me. It was just a miscontrol maybe, and then just a football action that can happen, and the speed of the Premier League and the game of football at this level. Like I said, there was no malice. He didn't want to go and hurt anybody. He didn't lose his head. It was just what it was. So sometimes these things happen and they're against you, and you have to suffer. And believe you me, we are suffering at the moment.
Matt Palmer.
What's the early assessment going on the injury?
The top of his, the only assessment is it's at the top of his quad. So he just felt it when he cleared the ball, I think it was. But in terms of the extent of it, too early to say.
Jerry.
Sorry, I was going to ask about it.
Same question.
Graham, do you feel the goalkeeper went walkabout for the winning goal?
Well, I never like to speak about individuals when we lose. I think the goal itself is a frustrating one from our perspective. I didn't think they were putting us under too much pressure, even though they had an extra man. So it felt like a bit of a soft goal to concede, and that's something we have to do better with.
Tom, last one.
Graham, it looked like at the end, it was quite hard to see from where we were, but it looked like the fans are quite frustrated by the majority of players going straight towards the tunnel. Do you still sort of feel the support from them towards the end?
Yeah, I can also understand that they're frustrated because we've lost, so that's normal. I made sure I went over and clapped them because you appreciate the support. It's not easy. We're suffering. They're suffering. So we feel for them. We feel for their disappointment, and I think it's important that we stick together and we go try and get through this tough period, because it really is a tough period.